there! I'm Sprinkles, Santa Claus's special elf. Because everything is special with sprinkles. Santa Claus knows you're special too, and he has something to say to you. So listen close as Santa Claus shares holiday cheer with you. You can leave a special message for Santa Claus and get on the nice list at www.santaclaussays.net. Now here is the big man himself, Santa Claus!
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas to all the boys and the girls of the entire world. Santa Claus says, be good for goodness sakes. And I welcome you to our every night program here called Santa Claus Says at santaclaussays.net. We do three things here at santaclaussays.net. We bring you some Christmas cheer, and our Elf Sprinkles helps us to do that. And we tell some jokes. And then we also have a Christmas story. We have a wonderful new Christmas story today about Christmas children. Then we have a letter to Santa, which is in the form of either an email or a text or a voicemail. And you can always send those to Santa at santaclaussays.net. And you can catch our show on podcast at santaclaussays.net or on Apple Podcasts or the other podcast directories, and on YouTube every night live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time at youtube.com/Santa Claus Says, and of course all the time then on YouTube other than that. We're glad that you are with us today to have some fun together. Oh, there's our Glockenspiel, boys and girls, which means it's time for our Santa Claus jokes of the day. What did Santa say on the night of Christmas? Time to hit the sack. One more. What is Santa's donut order? A jelly-filled donut, of course. Oh, good cheer with Santa Claus here at Christmas time. The Glockenspiel means it's story time, boys and girls, and we have a wonderful story for you today. It is called The Book of the Good Children. I remind you, you can go back and listen to all our great Christmas stories we've been telling here during the Christmas season. All the previous episodes of Santa Claus Says have those episodes of those children's stories for Christmas there. They're great part of Christmas season for you to take advantage of. And then on this episode here, it's the Book of Good Children. We begin it today, and we're going to continue it tomorrow on the next days of Christmas. So please tune in again for our next episodes. The Book of the Good Children. Let's begin. There was once a little boy, and his name was William John, and everybody called him Billy. One night, Billy lay in bed as wide awake as ever he could be. He'd been so sleepy when his mother put him to bed that he couldn't stand up straight or take off his clothes. But once he was tucked into bed and his mother had gone downstairs, Billy's eyes flew open and he felt as lively as if it were morning instead of his usual bedtime, 7 o'clock. Billy looked up from his bed out of the open window at the treetops as they were tossing and nodding in the west wind, and down from the trees came the autumn leaves, red and yellow and russet brown, flying and falling here and there and rustling where they fell. Bump, 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 bump. Billy knew what that sound meant. Nuts were blowing off from the great walnut tree that stood over the way of the house. Whisk, scrabble, rush. That was a squirrel traveling over the roof, as Billy well knew. In the next room, through the half-open door, Billy could see his toys lying about on the floor. There was his Jack-in-the-Box, looking very uncomfortable indeed, with his head hanging over the side of the box, almost touching the ground. There was his jumping jack tossed in a corner, arms and legs stretched out to jump, and a tired look upon his little painted face. A company of smart red and blue tin soldiers lay in an untidy heap, face down, their captain buried underneath them all. You wouldn't believe that they were soldiers if you didn't see their uniform. There was a gray horse and a scarlet wagon, both standing on their heels. There were fire engines, topsy-turvy, scattered here and there. A Mother Goose picture book lay under a chair as if it had been closed. Why, you would see that Mother Goose was on the cover. They did not seem at all pleased at finding herself in such a place. What was the matter with his playroom that the toys lay scattered about the floor? Why were they not put neatly away in a closet or a cupboard or a drawer? I will tell you. Billy never put away his toys. His mother talked and scolded and even shut him in the closet now and then. His father took him by his head and said to his mother, "Well, I shall have to leave this to you." His pretty Aunt Jean said she would give him a present if he would just put away his toys every night. His tall Uncle Joe promised to take him up to the circus if he would pick up his playthings for a week. But nothing did any good. Not talking or scolding, but for Billy didn't listen. Not shutting in the closet, not even going to bed in the middle of the day. For no sooner was he out to play again than Billy had forgotten all about it, and nothing was of any use. He simply would not put away his toys. Now as Billy lay snug in his bed, something very strange indeed happened to him. In the middle of the open window came the west wind, with a laugh and a loud puff. In a twinkling he whirled then Billy out of bed, and he twirled him out to the window and then blew along through the air at such a pace that for a moment Billy scarcely knew just who or where he was. When at last he could look about him, he found that he was sitting on an autumn leaf, holding tight with both hands, and riding along through the air so fast that the wind whistled past his ears. "Where am I going?" called Billy to the wind. "Where am I going? Tell me, do." But the wind only shouted, "Woo!" and blew the little boy along faster than ever before. The big round moon laughed down at Billy. The stars twinkled and gleamed as they were laughing too. On the autumn leaf, whirling and twirling and dancing along until Billy spied a great snow-white palace just ahead. And straight to the palace the wind blew the autumn leaf. Down, 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 down whirled the leaf until it rested in the palace front steps. And then, of course, there was nothing for Billy to do but to jump off the leaf and look around him. That's where we're going to pause the story for the day, boys and girls. We're going to come back tomorrow's for the next part of our story, but the book of good children. So you do not want to miss that story. It's a great story. And make sure you go back to our prior episodes for all of our great Christmas stories. And we have a great Christmas story here every night here on Santa Claus Says. Well, boys and girls, there's the chimes, our glockenspiel, which means that it's time for our letter of the day. Our letter of the day comes from Harrison M. And Harrison M says, "Hey, hello, Santa. I want a PlayStation gift card and a 10cc Honda dirt bike, a PlayStation remote portal." Well, those are very active games to have, Harrison, and hopefully you'll have some nice surprises. But I want to encourage you to not only play on PlayStations and things like that, but to play with your friends outside and ride your bicycle and other things like that, that you can do play real games outside. So we'll look forward to great surprises for you, Harrison, here at Christmas time and for all the boys of the girls of the world. A reminder that every boy and girl in the world can leave Santa Claus a message here at SantaClausSays.net. That is where you can leave me a message that is either a voicemail or an email or even a text message, and I will get those and I will respond to you. And you'll hear from Santa Claus, and that'll be a good thing. You can join me here on the show every night live at 8:30 p.m. And then you can, which is Eastern time, that's at youtube.com/Santa Claus Says. And then on the podcast at SantaClausSays.net on the Apple directory and the other podcast directories. We hope that you will join us and certainly reach out to Santa because Santa loves you and listens to you. Well, boys and girls, there's the glockenspiel, which means it's just about time to say goodbye. I want to remind you that we do have special shows coming up that you're going to want to listen to. On December 24th, we have The Night Before Christmas read, the great story for Christmas Eve, the night before Christmas and all through the house. You know the story, and we're going to read that entire story on Christmas Eve and hope that you'll join us. Then on Christmas Day and Christmas morning, and all this will be live on YouTube, we're going to have the story reading of the first Christmas story from the Bible about the birth of Jesus, which is what Christmas is really all about, the birth of the Savior, Jesus Christ. We love you and we're here for you. Santa Claus says that you are wonderful and have a blessed and wonderful, cheery Christmas season. Remember, we do three things here at Santa Claus Says. We bring Christmas cheer. That's number one. Second, we tell a great Christmas story, so tune in for tomorrow's story. And the third thing is we read a letter to Santa. We hope that you'll join us next time here on Santa Claus Says. Until then, remember that Santa Claus says to be good for goodness sakes. Ho, 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 ho.
You're special to Santa Claus, just like sprinkles. Get on Santa's nice list at SantaClausSays.net and watch Santa Claus Says live on YouTube. Tell him Sprinkles sent you.